everybody, but it does seem to be kind of consistent energy here. So this might still be speaking to just the few of you, or however it resonates. Again, some of you might be going through this energy currently, others it would be just a little further out. But generally the time frame that I'm working on here is from June 15th to the end of June. So 2023. So what I see here again, there's a lot of energies that you're really working through something. It's pretty clear that you are going through a very deeply emotional, significant time frame of, uploads and difficult decisions and huge amount of personal turmoil, but also a huge amount of personal growth. So I feel in the month of June, you're really at a stage right now for a lot of you. Ten of Swords, you're in the energy of negative cycle, hardship, a lot of, nasty kind of lessons that you've had to learn in this process of transitioning. Definitely end of a cycle. It's a completion of a cycle. You are, by the middle of June, you are in the space of healing something quite significant. So you will be able to prepare for a new beginning here with the Ace of Wands. Again, the main energy out is the Ten of Swords, the World. So Major Arcana specifically would be the World. So this is primarily the energy that I see here, as well with the Ten of Swords. I mean, it seems they're very close at hand for a reason. So the fact that we're at the World energy indicates that you are ready for a new beginning, ready for a new start, a new chapter of your life. You are done with this old situation. There is no more of that going on. What I want to say there too is when you get to the card of the World, I mean, this is a card of success. So you have successfully completed some aspect of your of the journey here, right? So it's not necessarily everything is fully complete and you are no longer having a lesson. Of course, there's lessons to be learned, but it looks like the next incoming lesson will be something around you taking action. So it's about preparing for, very creative sort of, action-oriented kind of productivity is what I would say is kind of what's coming in there next. I feel like what you were really in the process of healing from, that is where you've, made some effort or made some, made some stride in the way that you were communicating. I feel like you're healing all of that. And I'm not saying you're going to completely change over the way that you communicate, but it certainly does look like you're in a space where you are able to release some of the upset, some of the unrest, some of the backstabbing energy. You are willing to, find some balance in it. This is still further out. You're still currently in the energy of dealing with it. But again, I mean, it's still an energy of a new cycle that's coming in. And again, one that's going to be a lot more productive here from what I see. Again, when we're looking at the World card, I mean, it's almost like everything is pretty close to you now. Things are, there's some new things that are coming in for you, not just on the, putting some effort out in a particular new direction, but also putting out some energy as far as, and it's quite a bit of energy as far as when I see the Eight of Wands, there's like hasty communication or hasty movement or something in this direction of planting seeds. So you're really going to be putting some time, energy, effort into something pretty quick here, at least in the last 2 weeks. And again, it's a rough time frame. You're all at different stages of the game here, so it's not going to be exact. But as I say, I mean, you're all, moving on the timeline at your own cycle, so it's your own speed. But again, when we're looking at the World card, that is a long-term project. So I do feel like whatever is coming in for you here, it's going to be quite a significant journey for you to kind of build up the skill set, build up that level of, the level of skills that you desire anyway. So it doesn't look like you're afraid of any of that. It feels like you're almost so ready for it that, it's like a kind of a break free kind of energy. Because the Judgment card, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of cards of kind of you kind of moving into this, I need to make some big decisions here, and this is really where I'm at. I am so fed up with that, status quo, that I have to move in this new direction. It's not even, I feel like it's not even something that you're willing to entertain as, going back and forth or anything like that. It's really like it's a committed energy here. That temperance card, of course, for sure does indicate that you're trying to sort of still balance out some of these harsh negative thoughts that you have. You know, talking the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you talk to other people, that kind of thing. It really feels like you're finding a way to compromise or find some tolerance in a situation. So whether or not you completely go full cycle and resolve it, you're certainly at a place where you are successfully able to integrate some of that area of frustration anyway. And it certainly is going to create a level of, um, more feel like you're advancing yourself in some way, because like I say, the world card is a card of success, and it definitely speaks to success through an opportunity or moving into this opportunity. It feels like a whole new world is going to open up to you here, basically. Could be around travel. I don't know that I specifically see travel right here for all, but I mean there's some sense of networking or globally kind of connecting or something like that. Or maybe you're, working for or about to work for a company that has sort of global or networking kind of um, uh, connections, where you're branching out further, or it has the opportunity to branch into something further out. But either way, it looks like you're going to have a lot more excitement. There's a lot more energy with that Ace of Wands. And I feel like you're excited about this step in this direction here. Again, even when we're talking about the Ace of Wands, I mean, it still speaks to a level of, just a new beginning. You're not quite in the energy of I'm already walking into the door and I've, made the connections. It's not quite that energy. It's really about, I'm ready for the news cycle. I'm ready for something new. And this is sort of the birth of an idea. So you've got something coming in that does make you feel like you are moving in the right direction, new enterprise, new thought process, new sorry, creative beginning, anything along that line, new job. But either way, it's a card of enthusiasm and optimistic thinking, especially considering from over here, you're really in a place of, down cycle for sure. So again, coming out of that energy here about the middle of the month. And again, all of you is going to speak a little bit differently, might be a little further out for some, but either way, I mean, that Ace of Wands is certainly an opportunity that's going to allow you to, bring in some extra money here for sure. I see the Ace of Pentacles as, a new opportunity for some earnings, some increase. I don't see like massive amounts or anything here, but the potential for that is here. I do still feel a lot of leadership quality that's kind of gravitating through here. But it just feels like there's an overall improvement, even in your physical condition. And, because I think you're actually starting to realize that put the time and effort into you, and, you'll reap the rewards. Don't put any time and effort into you, and neither will anybody else. So, it's really about that take charge energy of yourself, and realizing that you need to seize the opportunities, and as they come up, when you identify them, you don't see them. There was some kind of I remember going to a seminar one time, and they said, everybody look for something in the room that's red, 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 red. And of course, then they'd say, look for everything in the room that's brown, 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 brown. And it was something along that line. And of course, to the exclusion of everything else, that's all you saw was red or brown or whatever. So my point is you find what you're looking for. And it really does feel like in this particular period, I did pull a few cards for advice and so on as well. And I'll pull them forward. Just I don't have a lot of the space right now, but it does look as though there is some need for you to kind of collaborate and start to learn to cooperate and negotiate, and be a lot more flexible and cooperative in your efforts with people, because I feel like that is how you're going to actually get out of this little rut here with that Ten of Swords energy starting out. Again, like when we get to that seven of, well, the Eight of Wands, of course, is like quick communication around some new project, some new job, some new extra money, or something that's coming in here. But that Eight of Wands is definitely sort of benefiting from this news. And so I feel like it's bringing you out of a place of stagnation and kind of into a place of, okay, well, now I know this is happening, and now I know I can put some money into this, or I can, educate myself. And I do feel education here for some reason with that Page of Pentacles as well as that Seven of Pentacles. That to me does speak to education. And even with the Eight of Pentacles, I mean, again, still further out, and it still feels like you're in the decision-making process, but I feel like you're starting to realize that there is broader horizons out here for you. You're still in a low period. You're still sort of feeling like you've missed out on something. Life isn't quite what you expected it to be. You know, there's a lot of down energy here that you're still struggling with. But I mean, a lot of the cards here are quite positive and very, you know, moving. You're moving away from this energy. Like I said, a lot of this energy is quite positive. When we look at the King of Wands, that's a very external energy. Somebody who's, you know, okay taking charge, doesn't have any qualms about being a leader. And it's not just about being a leader, but it's also being a leader with a heart. And really, that's what the Page of Cups is. It's leading your life in a way that you have, you're open and receptive to the path that you're on. I also feel like there's some sense of connection or reconnection. It doesn't have to be a love connection, but it certainly does stand to some kind of significant connection. And it feels like there is some movement in that direction, where you're maybe not quite in this energy yet externally, but you're moving in the situation, moving into that scenario of getting closer to this person in some way. So again, at least it's a small token. Pages for me are very small tokens. It's just a small individual effort, you know, to move in the direction of this person. Queen of Cups is definitely still, you know, also collecting a lot of your emotional resources and figuring out how you can best suit yourself in and put that into action. But anyway, kind of going back to, again, that Four of Cups energy, like I said, I mean, that's still a place of being, you know, apathetic. You're not really feeling like you're ready to move emotionally, because there might have been a certain element of cathartic uh, staleness, you know what I mean? Like where we stay in a place too long. And I should mention, there was a study that I remember reading as well. I'm sorry I can't relate the study. You could probably look it up, just enter in a couple of words, study relating around, um, you know, looking into ourselves an awful lot, doing a lot of past reflection. Sometimes that is a positive thing in the short term, but what they found over the long term is, you know, over the course of years, that becomes a cathartic response to, you know, you start asking yourself, why did this go wrong? Why, and why did this person do this to me? Why? Anyway, the reasoning behind it was, when you do a lot of self-reflection, you want to be in a space where you're asking what, not why. Why is the past tense, and so you can never really control anything that relates around the past tense or orients around other people. So the questions to ask yourself are what do I need to do now to break this cycle? What do I need to do, to think about who I want to be, what I want to become, and how to get there. When you stay in the why, you're basically kind of tearing yourself down and looking for all the reasons why you're inadequate and why things didn't work out, had to be all on your shoulders. And of course, that's not reality. That's not the real world. The real world has twists, turns, and people with a lot of different ideas that may not coincide with your values, belief systems, and all of that. So, I mean, you can't control other people, but you can, control your response to it and all of that. So, but again, the general sort of how do I say, sort of the outcome of all of that was that when you are asking yourself the what questions, you're not in the past reflection mode. You actually, those people felt more in control of their life, going further out into the future over the course of years, and they spent less time in reflection of why, and spent more action-oriented tasks of what do I need to do? What is the next step? What does my future look like if I want to be this kind of person? Because you really have to know what kind of person you want to be, whether you're there or not. It doesn't matter. I mean, the point is when you have to kind of craft the story of the hero, right? So you're saying to yourself, who do I want to be? How do I want to get there? And as the hero in my own story, what is it? What attributes do I need to cultivate within myself to strengthen all the weak ones, or to bring about my best self? Like, what lessons will cultivate the best self, and what areas am I actually stuck on, and how do I how do I navigate through that? Of course, by asking yourself questions that have more of an action oriented base. So again, going back and reflecting on oneself, it's fine to do in the short term but eventually over the long term, it's a poor result for long term success. But it may help in the short term. Like I said, if you don't really know yourself well enough, your values or belief systems, all those things, that would be a good time to really get to know yourself, write it down. And again, even on doing, I was also reading something on journaling where if you do write a little bit of write things down as far as, what do I want to accomplish this day? What actions do I need to take? What's my level of motivation? Add that up over the course of the week, scale of 1 to 10. How motivated were you? What were the factors that held you back? And then you sort of start to see a pattern and the things that you start to think frequently and how you hold yourself back. Anyways, just good advice for anybody that's just kind of food for thought. And even if you don't take it, you can always pass that on. So anyway, going back into the stream of things here. So again, there's a lot of Cancer energy here for you, of course, and I do see Aries, Sagittarius stands out for me as well. And anyway, we'll kind of flow through here again. But with that Four of Cups energy with the Judgment, like I said, I feel like you're in a place of really you're discontented. You're really not happy with where you are, emotionally in your head, and you're really going to make some kind of a judgment call to get yourself actioning on something. You're really going to start taking charge of your life here in this next short while. Like I said, you're ready to plant the seeds, put something into motion here, and that Eight of Pentacles means you're definitely in that space of no longer wanting to, be uncertain or feel like you're not prioritizing yourself, because now you're ready to prioritize you, your dreams, your goals, all of that. And again, it's still supposed to be still working with other people, because the cards that I pulled earlier did include that, which I'll pull those forward here as well. But Eight of Pentacles is certainly at that place of mastering something. So you're really in a skill building mindset. Again, your focus, I really strongly feel, is on educating yourself because of that Page of Pentacles, as well as the 8 here for me, and that 7. You're really in a space of really putting something together. Again, for some of you, this might be education in terms of just general skill building, but it definitely, you're in a space of trying to approach something with a level of mastery as the further out energy. So this is where you're going with it. So again, it's about requiring, more of an advanced expertise in something. That's the knowledge that you're going for. It's not just a job here. I really feel like you're trying to put some self-worth, some self-confidence, this is the expectation I see in whatever it is that you're planning to go ahead with. This is the attributes I feel that you will be cultivating. And certainly these are the things that are important to you, is wanting to be a leader in a particular field. You want to be respected for the way that you are pursuing a project or a business. I feel like you are trying to level it up and really make some financial changes here in the last couple of weeks of June. But again, it's still the process of you're putting something together here where you're starting to grow it. New idea, again, something's coming through and you're going to take action on it. That's already in the works here. But you're just having to, by the very end of, or pretty close to the end of the month there is something that's coming through as far as a decision that you're making. And again, this decision is a very big decision, because the Judgment card just doesn't just pop out here, at a turning point. It's a turning point that's significant in your life. And this means there's a lot of self-growth that's gone into this. But again, you have to stand on the shoulder of giants. You have to make yourself great based on your connections, or based on, people that have gone there before. Everybody comes with a certain level of wisdom. So it's not to say that only a successful person can be of advantage to you, because everybody seems to have, everybody comes with gifts. And so, in one, it's you identifying the gift that you need to learn at that particular time, is how I would look at it. So again, if you're seeing something here that is coming in as somebody can help me learn a lesson in terms of love, then I feel you'll be open and receptive to that, because that's kind of moving in that direction. But I think that it's more that you're more receptive to a particular connection where somebody could be a mother figure or something here, but there's definitely some kind of energy around maternal sort of energy. But again, I'll just kind of fly back to this judgment card. It is an accumulation of lessons. It's definitely where you are willing to, you're feeling much more spiritually awakened on some level. It's like you're starting to wake up. So there's still a lot of conflict that you're dealing with here in that beginning or that middle part of June. But somehow along the line here, by the toward the end of the month, I just feel like you're realizing your worth, you're realizing a path, and I feel like you're just ready to start fresh here because there's again end cycle and ready to move into it right now. And again, this could be even on an emotional level, but for what I see here, I see a lot of pentacles, very grounded energy. Sort of feels along more along the lines of really trying to focus on your freedom coming in through some kind of pentacle energy, you know, something that's grounded, something that has like a tangible, something you can hang on to. It's not something that is just emotional and you're waiting on a response from someone. It's actually, you know, the dream unfolds only when you can, you know, for sure put the action behind it, but it's also about, you know, the dream unfolding because you're also in that driver's seat. And I feel like that's where you have not been. So by, like I said, by the end of June, I feel like you were putting yourself in a place of, this is what I want. This, you know, if I want a career that's going to be respected, I have to build up, you know, and you got to take the hits. You got to take the low life sort of, you know, hits that, you know, are kind of downgrades in one way, but if you can get a skill out of that situation, that upgrades you. So, you know, there's always some kind of torment that goes with any kind of position or any kind of change. But it is kind of a breakthrough energy, regardless, where you're willing to, you know, trudge through whatever needs to be done, you're willing to do it. I also feel like this is that space where it's self-actualization, like I said, for me when I see the World card here, and Page of Pentacles, working on oneself, Judgment card, to me they're really cards speaking, you know, to kind of weighing out your options as well, but definitely, you know, you're reviewing your life and making hard choices. Like, these are big choices. These are not, you know, should I, you know, go to this event this week or whatever. It's big decisions that you're making here that, you know, really impact your destiny on some level. But again, there's, you know, it's a lifetime of, you know, positive. I see more positive coming in here. Despite what you think, there is more positive that's coming in here. A lot of cards of positivity. And again, when we get back to the King of Wands, I mean, this is still energy of, you know, somebody's got to take charge kind of energy. I feel like you're kind of putting yourself into that position here as well. But you could also be influenced by a particular sort of fire sign or something along that line as well. But either way, I just feel like you have more of a kind of fire starter sort of energy, you know, like you're willing to, um, you know, feeling a lot more in control of some area of your life here anyway. And again, I feel like that's part of the awakening to things, right? So, I mean, Wands is going to be taking action, and it certainly feels like, you know, there's a journey you're about to move on to here. And I feel like you're remaining open to the possibilities, you know, especially when it's followed by this page. But there's a certain level of empowerment because there's a self-reliance that's coming in here too. But again, when I pulled the cards for advice, it's saying don't go alone. This is a time for you to feel confident and all of that, but you also need to have, you know, start tying things together so that you can level it up, right? And that expansion only comes from connecting with parts of your world, parts of the world. And again, I mean, that's going to have its own impact of some negative, you know, feedback as well. But when you know yourself well enough, it, you know, it, whatever you're confronted with or faced, you're not going to be a hothead about it. You're going to realize that, you know, you're learning a lesson about how to deal with people in a particular way, or deal with people in a, you know, a certain sphere, that kind of thing, right? So the King of Wands is that person that's willing to, you know, take the good with the bad because they're feeling pretty confident about themselves. They're not, you know, this is somebody who would complete things. All kings are sort of in that area of completing. So it's also about there's a closure here, you know, a completion of the, like I said, the old cycle here. With that Eight of Cups, you're also kind of getting rid of some baggage here now. And I do feel like going forward, the sacrifice is that you need to learn how to balance time, energy, learn to negotiate. You need to have more balance in your life, and that seems to be what is out of balance. Like I said, the Kings are definitely about, you know, being in control, feeling empowered. It's all about that behavior that is about completion of things and momentum to go forward, taking control of a situation and feeling a lot more energy to do so, but also feeling very inspired and even a little bit more magnetic in the way that you're going forward. But again, like I still feel, and it's even like drawing, you have a certain ability to draw attention to yourself. And so even though you can earn respect here, it's also, you're still in the space of building up the skills so that you can earn this respect. I feel like you're not quite in that space yet, but it is still, you know, a growth mindset. And it's not just a growth mindset, but it's about carefully planning projects. This is what the King is all about. This is somebody who's very ambitious and really wants to move on to the next phase of their life. When we get to the Queen of Cups, again, there's a lot of energy around. Queens to me are about using your resources, and emotionally, I feel like that is where you're having to really balance yourself out, because that seems to have been the area, I would say, that has been controlling you for a little bit of time here. This could have been overreactions, but a lot of over sentimentality, thinking about the past. But again, there's also something here about, you know, having a certain sense of tradition that you're really drawn to. And Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, of course, again, coming through, not the main energy out, but certainly is the clarifier. Definitely a lot of spiritual energy that's around you at this time with Temperance. So tap into it. Doesn't mean completely go into reflection mode, but it does mean, you know, heed the signals, the signs, anything that's a synchronicity, something that might kind of speak to you a little differently than in a particular day. But it's certainly all about, you know, things fulfilling you on an emotional level. So I feel like you will be gaining more of that energy of being more emotionally satisfied. But again, the sacrifice here with the Hangman is you need to learn to balance it out. You need to not to pigeonhole yourself or others into a particular way of being or way of acting. You know, it's about sort of accepting and releasing and realizing, you know, that if you want others to accept you, you also have to accept them for their foibles or the things that have gone right or wrong, despite whatever the emotions can block you. So your emotions really have to be kept in check, and you have to be able to tame those emotions so that you can go forward and be open to all of your dreams and the things that are important in your life, right? So that's all about healing, and it's healing the heart here as well, so that you can start taking some action. I feel like your self-esteem is starting to improve toward the end of the month. But again, the clue here is balance is through sacrifice, and that means learning to be a lot more less rigid in your thinking. So I'm also going to throw up a couple of other cards here, just as far as maybe I'll just throw them on top. Anyway, the cards that I pulled out here, and this was the Angel deck. What is it here? Sorry, guys. It's the Radleigh Valentine Oracle cards. So the cards that came out is that you need to take action. Again, you need to learn to compromise. Sorry, I probably could have done this a little bit better, but as it goes. So it is taking action. It's finding a compromise. Whatever the no is, I think it relates to, because it's followed by the next card of ask for help from others. And that's because I clarified that one. So, you know, I feel like you were probably saying, I need to do this by myself. And the universe is saying, no, you get help to move yourself into the things that you want to do. And there was also another card here of yes, and I clarified that. What is the yes card? The card is that you are recovering. So there is something here that you might be fearing around your health, perhaps, but it definitely is showing that yes, you are recovering. So healing from the heart, or healing, you know, in whatever other way is significant to you. So, or relevant. Anyway, and then I just pulled a couple of other cards again. This is just advice cards. So we've got, this was the Sorry guys, trying to find the deck on this one. This is the Archangel Power Tarot deck, and of course your Two of Ariel is, it's important to have balance, you know, so you're working multiple jobs or projects at once, you know, and the whole point is to make everything fun. You know, we only have so much time on this earth, and if you don't try to find some fun in the day, despite other people's moods and things that whether they learn to cope or can't cope, you know, it's being isolating your energy a little bit. So if somebody's having a bad day, you just kind of make yourself unavailable, right? You know, it's things along that line. So because you don't need to take on all of the moods of every surrounding, you know, element in your life. You need to keep yourself focused and balanced so that you can actually accomplish and put your time and energy into the things that are important to you. If somebody is standing in the way of your accomplishment or getting to the next level, take the skill or whatever it is you need from that particular situation and apply it, you know, in a way that you feel is still congruent with your values and your belief systems. And whether it's successful or not in that particular area is not as relevant as you being true to yourself. So Eight of Michaels is, again, you can be free. Make a courageous choice to change your situation. You're just not seeing something clearly at this time. So I think you're probably seeing things in a very negative way when you actually do have a lot of support around you, and you just need to be mindful of that. And I feel, when I asked the card what it is that you're really in search of, it's peace. Peace came out. You know, you want to release the past. You want that freedom to feel more enriching life. And as the card says, let go, let God. So, you know, whatever your belief and whatever denomination, the point is whatever religion or thing that brings you to a place of a better you, follow that. You know, if it empowers you and puts you in a much more, um, you know, better for future generations, you're doing all the right things. You know, doing something just for oneself is not as gratifying as, and it's really it's ego gratification is very short lived. But when you actually put time and energy into something where you can actually watch it grow and other people take it and expand on it or feel inspired by it, that's when you really feel like you've made a difference in the world. And that's a pretty significant thing. And that does lead to a certain degree of peace. So that's what I'm going to leave it as here for you, Cancer. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight, a little bit of momentum there just to keep going. Like I said, you have some pretty good cards here. And despite, you know, a couple of the heartaches and the, you know, communication challenges that you've had, and some kind of areas of imbalance, like I said, your sacrifice again is to make sure that, you know, you're not, if you don't want other people to be rigid with you, you can't be rigid with them. So, you know, it's kind of that mirror effect. What goes out, you know, what is going on inside is also going to be going on outside. So just be mindful of that and kind of keep things in check. So that's what I have for you. Keep moving forward, never give up, and until next reading.